French President Nicolas Sarkozy meeting with President Obama this afternoon in D.C. Now, as part of the Eurozone, France recently offered a lifeline to Greece. Joining us now to discuss the extent to which the Greek experience may change today's agenda, we are joined by Gilles Moec. He is a London-based economist at Deutsche Bank. Gilles, thanks so much for being with us. So has the Greek experience, will it change Sarkozy's tone?
Basically, Sarkozy comes to Washington probably from a fairly weak position because originally the French approach to the Greek crisis was to try to find a purely European solution. He had trouble convincing the Germans that it was the right approach, and in the end he had to accept the involvement of the IMF in what normally was a purely European affair. So he is in a situation right now, with France generally speaking, in a situation right now where in 2008, 2009 it appeared to be at a kind of spearhead in Europe for dealing with the recession, dealing with the bank crisis. Things seems to be reverting at quite fast pace right now, and France is probably in a fairly weakened position. Bottom line is that France wanted some help to be ready for Greece. It has won the game on this, but the system under which this help would be sent is definitely not what was the French approach at the very beginning.
But Gilles, do you think that Greek now represents this kind of collective cautionary tale about sovereign debt? I mean, in the past, Sarkozy has said we need the great American people to understand the absence of rules that kills freedom. I mean, do you think he's going to come to D.C. with an agenda about financial reform?
Well, it's still very much a top priority in France. At least it was a top priority before the regional elections. There's still a lot of anger, I would say, in Paris about the financial system, the way things need to be overhauled. But my hunch is that since the regional elections, which did not really play out very well for the ruling centre-right, things have focused now much more on domestic affairs, how to deal with the deficit, how to deal with domestic reforms such as the pension reform, and I guess Paris will devote less time, less energy in trying to reach international agreements on this kind of global affairs.
You mentioned obviously the recent election results. I mean, to what extent does Sarkozy want a good photo op with President Obama? Is that going to boost his stature? Does he think it will help PR-wise as he sort of gears up to try to win a national election?
Well, the U.S. president is immensely popular in France, as he is probably in the rest of Europe. So probably yes, it helps. Yes, in the regional elections, things turned out pretty slowly for Sarkozy's party, UMP. It's a fairly usual feature in France. Intermediate elections are always pretty hard for the ruling party, but it was exceptionally hard in France 2 weeks ago. And what happened in Italy, actually yesterday, where centre-right did quite well, came as a kind of proof that it was not just up to the recession, that there was possibility for a government to still get some support in these difficult times. So yes, it's a politically tricky situation for Sarkozy right now. Any help from the international stage would of course help a lot, but again, I'm afraid that the French energy will really be focused on internal affairs.
Gilles, we thank you so much for your time, for your input there. Gilles Moec joining us from London. He's an economist with Deutsche Bank.